See, this is the thing when we're talking about older student loans, because if you're saying Ascendium is collecting on your student loans, then I have to assume that you have those loans that are not held by the Department of Education. You have those FFEL loans. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the thing too that's bothersome with me about this whole process, because these are old loans that you have from 2002 to 2006. So these are older student loans. But what's unfortunate about that is because with the one-time account adjustment, and if Ascendium is collecting on these loans, and that's why I have to make this assumption that they're FFEL, if these loans would have been consolidated last year, then what that would have meant for you, then you would have been able to accrue these credits through the one-time account adjustment. Now, mind you, that window has closed for that. But this is the thing. This is what your options are now, because you're saying that the student loans are in default. So we know we got to do something before collection efforts resume. Even though the Department of Education, they're saying they're not going to garnish any wages, they're not going to offset any taxes, and this is just temporary. This is just a delay. But what we don't want to do is continue to have this defaulted information reporting every month to the credit reporting agencies, all this additional fees and interest that is collected on these loans, just all these things that are still actively harming you. So what your options are, and I mean, you can read this on the student aid website, studentaid.gov, go under loan repayment, and you can go read about delinquencies and default. But what you can do if you have not talked to Ascendium yet is to see what your options are. If you want to go through the rehabilitation process, I mean, that means usually you make payments, like 9 payments, small payments over 10 months. You make these payments, and then that'll bring the loans back current. You're able to go back into repayment. But the only thing is, with this type of loan, you without consolidating it into a direct loan, then we don't have that access to income during repayment. And I don't know what your payments were prior to default as to why, they weren't able to be made. But also with consolidating, because that's another option in order for you to get the loans out of default, is to go into a consolidation, or let's pay the loans off in full. But if you do a consolidation, what happens is any payments that you have made prior to the consolidation, you lose. So you don't have those credits anymore. And I don't know, since these are older loans, how long you have actually made payments. And if you're willing to risk, losing those payments in order to access a cheaper monthly payment. But there's just a few different things that, you have to kind of weigh out before you make that decision to consolidate. And I don't know if you have other loans outside of these FFEL loans, or what the case may be, but you just want to take a look on the student aid website, kind of get your options together to see what it is you want to do if you've already talked to them. And I know you mentioned some other things about the University of Phoenix and what you have dealt with them through the Borrowers Defense application. Mind you, with the Borrowers Defense application, you could put the loans in a forbearance as well. Now, mind you, I'm not advising you to put the loans into a forbearance, because that just hinders the process to get you to forgiveness. It just puts literally a Band-Aid on the issue. So we don't want to utilize the Borrowers Defense application just to get the loans out of default. We want to more or less use the Borrowers Defense application in addition to you getting the loans out of default. But, it's that other mechanism